now the pressure's on.
For sure, ever since Whatnot started.
Oh, we're gonna get there.
Sudden, me and my best friend Vicky were gonna down the line open up an antique shop
So the mission was physical location.
and get as much inventory as possible. It was more or less a dream.
I paid for my honeymoon with eBay sales.
Wow. Okay. Cha-ching sound that comes from your phone. It's like,
Right.
oh, sold.
But the velocity is a lot slower than what you're seeing.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
What was the moment? Like, when did you decide to start selling?
Well, I started selling casually on eBay
Yeah.
years before I started live selling, maybe like
Okay.
a year and a half.
And what were you selling on eBay?
Vintage, same stuff I'm selling now. Vintage decor,
Right.
glass, things like that. All along the way, watching live selling, though. That was definitely the inspiration. But my thought was always that me and my best friend Vicky were going to, down the line, open up an antique shop.
So the mission was physical location.
Yes. And get as much inventory as possible, which I did.
Okay. So it was
So-
accumulate a bunch of inventory,
Yes.
and then where did you want to do it?
I don't know. It was more or less a dream
Okay.
at the time because she's in North Carolina and that's what she loves to do too. You know, I'm here. So it was just kind of more or less a pipe dream.
So like from today, February 2026, when did that start? When did you start accumulating inventory for a
So a
physical
year
store?
ago was my first live sale. So I'd say a year and a half before that. So I've been like
2.5 years ago.
Years,
You
yes,
started
when I
accumulating.
really started like getting into going on the treasure hunts and finding all this stuff.
Got it. And
Yeah.
then when did you start eBay? Was it around that time?
Yeah, and I mean I've always kind of sold casually on eBay since I think like 2002 or something like
Yeah.
that.
I think we all sold stuff on eBay.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I paid for my honeymoon with eBay sales.
Wow. Okay.
I would go around to Toys R Us, and at the time they had this bin of 1,200 bulk Lego bricks. Mm-hmm. And I noticed on eBay that people were buying this bin and then just selling them by the color. Like, here's all the red pieces, here's all the blue pieces.
Wow.
And they were selling those colors for twice as much. Like, I did the math and I was like, all right, so they're buying this thing for $19 and they're getting 40 gross if they sold all of the colors individually. And I just started circling Toys R Us's and buying as many as I could. And then I found them at Target.com. And I was actually called Target.com back when you could talk to people on the phone.
Yeah.
And I was able to order like 50 to 100 of them. And I called them and they said, we have like 1,200 in stock. And my dad was like, if you want them all, like I'll front you the money and you
Nice.
could buy them
Wow.
all. And I was like, let me buy 100 first and see if I could sell them. And then if I can, we can go back and buy the rest. The 100 came. I did like huge lots where I did like 20 of the 1,200 packs like
Yeah.
at a time. Doubled my money. And then I was like, all right, I think I'm ready to buy the rest. Went back to Target, sold out. They stopped making that SKU. And that was it. That was over.
Really?
But I had earned enough to pay for my honeymoon.
Wow. So that was the spark.
That was like, I mean, I was doing eBay even before that, but that was
But
like,
with the Legos and everything.
yeah, but that was like, that was a big, one of my
Yeah.
biggest
Little
wins
light bulb moment there.
on eBay.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay. So anyway,
That's cool.
Back to you, which is, all right, I'm starting to sell on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of your eBay experience?
Slow and steady, but like always like super fun. If I got like a couple like, dings a day, it was like, oh,
Right.
that cha-ching sound that comes from your phone. It's like,
Right.
oh, sold.
But the velocity is a lot slower than what you're seeing.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's like you can't even
Yeah.
compare.
You just wait on eBay. Sometimes you can get more per because you're waiting around, for it. But live selling, of course, is like right there on the spot. So
All right. So now take me from accumulating inventory.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the eBay stuff. What was your first experience with selling live?
So I had switched my profile from personal to like a business, from Lisa whatever to the Vintage Pit.
You're talking about Instagram.
On Instagram, which is where I learned about live selling and where I just learned so much about vintage and all that kind of stuff. But I was just a buyer for a long time, and I was just
So you were going into other people's lives on Instagram and buying.
because I just like fell in love with certain kinds of glass and things like that. So that really perked my interest.
And you were buying it to do what? Resell on eBay or just accumulate for the one day I'm going to have a store?
both. Both,
Okay.
for sure. But I knew that it was a slow burn on eBay. So I knew I could continue to build inventory and sell at the same time and not really worry about losing out on inventory.
Got you.
You know, because it was all going to be there. It was, you know, just waiting there in my basement.
So you're going into other people's lives,
Yep.
and you're now kind of embedding yourself into that community.
Exactly.
Right?
Now I'm the Vintage Pit, you know, so people are kind of knowing who I am, even though I'm just the buyer. But I'm also posting like reels on my like thrifting experiences and stuff, and putting it to music, and like having like a lot of fun doing that. You know, showing people, because that's also what I loved watching on Instagram. I loved watching people find these awesome treasures. That is totally a huge influence on, you know, how I kind of really revved up my
Right. So you get caught up emotionally into the thrill of the chase.
Oh, that's the fun. That's
Yeah.
definitely the fun. But selling is definitely fun too. And then the number one fun part of it is definitely the finding of the inventory.
Yeah, you like buying.
Yeah. Now the pressure's on though,
Now the pressure's on.
for sure. Ever since Whatnot started.
Oh, we're
All
gonna
of a
get there.
sudden, yes.
We're gonna get there.
Whew.
So
I mean, that's fast forwarding, but yeah.
now take me to, all right, I'm gonna start selling. I've been doing a lot of buying.
Yeah.
But now I want to start selling on Instagram.
Yeah, so I randomly got invited to a live, to a, you know, like an all day, I don't know, can't think of the word, but like an all day kind of.
So they were streaming for a while.
Right, but not a festival, but you know, like a whole day of all mid-century modern stores that were selling.
Okay.
So you know, I somehow got on this.
Wait, and when you say stores, you just mean like
shops
accounts.
on Instagram.
Accounts.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
guess.
didn't really have, like on Instagram, I think still, there's not like natively I could just buy it. Like you're still doing Venmo and PayPal
Absolutely.
and Cash
Yeah,
App
it
and all
is
that
not
stuff.
embedded, but they still call, you know, we still call ourselves
store.
shops.
Got it.
Or stores, yeah.
All right.
Not just like accounts, yeah.
Yeah.
So I just got randomly invited, and it was I was not used to changing Eastern to Pacific time. So I signed up for a live that was at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm thinking it's at 7 o'clock at night or 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something. I'm completely backwards
Yeah.
until the day before, and I'm like, oh my God, I am not a night person. Anybody who knows me knows that. So, but I'm like, I'm just gonna have to do this. I mean, I'm just gonna have to have a cup of coffee at 10 o'clock at night or whatever. And I'm so glad I did. That was a hugely successful live for whatever reason.
So this is your first time going live.
Yes.
It's 11 o'clock at night on the East Coast. And do you remember how much you sold?
It was close to 400, I would say,
$400.
in an hour.
How many items?
Probably 10 items, something like that.
Got it.
Yeah,
And then this is people just PayPaling you,
Yes.
Cash App, however they're going to pay.
that's right.
And then you figure out how to ship everything out to them.
Yeah,
the next
pirate
day.
ship. That's, you
Pirate
know,
ship
yeah,
is the
you kind of
move.
figure out you depend on all the outside kind of sources to figure it out instead of having it all embedded. So, yeah,
All right. So what did that feel like?
it was super fun. I don't know how I fell asleep after that. But
Right, because
you
the
know,
adrenaline's
yeah,
going.
totally.
And your mind starts going, how can I do this again? What should I have? What should I
yeah,
do next
yeah,
time?
yeah.
So how much time was it before you had that experience and now you're like, all right, I need to do this again.
Well, one of the girls that were on live, so you go live with 3 other shops at a time on Instagram.
Okay.
So you share a screen with 3 other people. And one of them invited me to do another live with her and a friend that following week. And then I just kind of got into these like groups on Instagram where they create polls and you can like sign up, you know.
So it was that moment, which
Mm-hmm.
was about a year ago.
February 2025, yeah.
And you've been doing it consistently on Instagram,
Yeah.
like at least on a weekly basis for like the last year.
Oh, yeah.
So once you started, you didn't stop.
Correct.
And you saw the velocity was way stronger than eBay.
Definitely stronger than eBay, yeah.
And do you still do eBay?
I do, but barely. Yeah.
Like have things listed.
I have a few kind of stragglers listed and some things that I know aren't going to be a quick sell on Instagram or something like that. Larger items that, you know, I just want shipping to already be handled, you know,
Got it.
ahead of time.
Then you'll do eBay.
Exactly. That's the kind of stuff that gets put on eBay, but barely. I'm barely selling on
All right.
eBay.
So now you're doing Instagram
Right.
and you're starting to hear about these other live selling platforms.
Not for a while, though. I mean,
Okay.
I didn't know about Whatnot, 5 months ago.
5 months ago. And
Something like
you
that.
were introduced to it by whom?
People just started talking about it on, just kind of hearing it here and there on Instagram.
So did you start shopping on Whatnot first? You started buying things?
Oh yeah, and
Eh.
kind of getting into the idea, of you can't go on Whatnot and not buy on Whatnot. I'm sorry.
Right. That's very true. But I want to know, like, what was that light bulb moment for you? Like, when was that spark ignited for you to say, I have this experience on Instagram, I have this experience on eBay, I need to now see what Whatnot's all about?
I think as soon as I started watching it, I was like, this is going to be my next step. Because I was just seeing how people were selling, so much quicker. I love the idea of everything being embedded, not having to, you finish a live and now you're chasing people around because not everyone's going to right away send you their stuff.
You're saying from Instagram.
From Instagram.
When you're on Instagram, no one's checking out to pay right away. They're just kind of
Exactly.
claiming it, and now you have to follow up to get payment.
Right. So now we're following up, and now we're doing everything on, PayPal or Venmo, and then we're going to Pirate Chip. It's like, so I love the idea of it kind of being like an eBay, but
Right.
alive.
But live.
eBay,
And it's all taken care of for you.
Right.
Okay. So now take me through the preparation and execution of your first show.
So I decided my first show was right before the new year. So I had off from my regular job, during that time because it's the holidays. So
Right.
I knew I was going to do it around that time because everyone talks about how that first show, you just milk that first show for all it's worth because the algorithm sends you kind of to the top. You get a lot of viewers. So I was prepared, for that.
And you did some self-promotion on your own Instagram?
Oh, yeah,
Right.
always. So that's
Which had to have helped.
I
the
think
first
so. I
show.
mean, every time, even now, like every time I go on to Instagram and I, share, because you can share directly or you can, I'll put a reel together to preview what I'm going to show. It always increases my bookmarks right away. So, I mean, even just a handful, but, people are seeing it.
Bookmarks are the holy grail.
Yeah.
Bookmarks are more important than followers, right?
Okay.
So followers, I talk about this all the time. Follower count, I look at as a vanity metric, where like a big number looks good, but
Yeah.
what does it really mean? Because especially if you do giveaways or you enter other people's giveaways, you'll know that you have to follow oftentimes to enter a giveaway.
Right.
So you could end up following 100, 200, 300 different accounts very quickly. Well, what does that mean? Whatnot isn't going to send you an alert every time one of the channels you follow goes live. Because if they did that, your phone would be nonstop dinging all day long, and they don't
Yeah.
want you to delete the app. However, when you bookmark someone's show, three things happen. One, you're going to get an email. Like, hey, that show you bookmarked is going to be starting in an hour.
Right.
Number two, you're going to get an in-app notification if you have your notifications turned on that says, all right, that show is going to be starting, that show is live, and you can immediately one click go right into the show. And the third thing is the next time that person goes into Whatnot, if they bookmark your show and your show is live, it's going to show up at the top of their feed.
Yeah.
So bookmarks are really the holy grail.
Yeah.
The more bookmarks you can get for any of your shows, the better.
And getting those bells turned on. So if you
Notifications
right. So if you like on an item.
on an item.
Yes.
Because then every time you list that item, the alerts go out.
Exactly. So every time you pin it when you're going to show it,
Right. Then
Right.
it sends that alert out.
and then you see like all of a sudden 6, 7 people.
now
just
that's a
showed
really
up
good
in
point.
tier. Yes.
I want to know, where did you learn that?
Just from watching other people doing it. Some people do random polls. I tried to do that for the first time the other day, and I did get myself a little bit confused. And the big shops do recommend don't do random polls as
Wait,
like.
explain a random poll.
So you just have a generic listing, and you can have like 25 of them, and I'll do small, medium, and large. So the only difference,
okay. Yeah.
So then I can
Familiar.
just pull anything, but then I have to keep up with
The numbers.
the number and which one's medium, which one's small, and like, sometimes, Whatnot goes really, really fast. It's a big difference between Whatnot and Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So I did try to do it for the first time, and I'm glad I only showed a few because I did get a little bit confused and I did need some clarification, but they do provide video receipts on Whatnot.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, so
You just
I
go
was
back and
able to
watch.
go back, and I made sure I did confirm with my buyer too, because I just wanted to, make sure I wasn't sending the wrong thing. So there are some fail safes for that, but
Yeah, it's interesting. In every category on Whatnot, they have different terminology for different things. So you're calling it random pulls.
Yeah.
Because I know on your streams you have a lot of your things pre-listed.
Yes.
And you'll have people go in and even pre-bid on certain items.
Exactly.
What do you think the advantages of that are, especially in your niche, which is vintage?
I mean, I like to have everything up and loaded. I'll still load a few more things like within maybe even a few hours of my show, but
Yeah.
the bulk of my items, I want to have a week's time for people to, because I go into Whatnot, and if I'm searching for an item, you can search for an item, and those items don't just come up as the buy it nows. Those items come up as this is coming up in a future show.
Right.
So I'm going to click on that. Sometimes I'll even go to the person's, profile and then, shop the rest of their items. If they have what I'm looking for, then, they might have more. So it gives just people that, I think it just exposes your show so much more. So you wind up getting, those bells and then the bookmarks are huge. I think that's what the big difference is between loading all your stuff in and then, versus just going in and kind of doing those random
So
pulls.
talk to me about how you list your items, right? So you have, how many items do you like to have pre-listed for every show that you do?
So right now I have a weekly show on Tuesdays, and it's a little bit more broad. My Thursday shows are kitchen, which is more specific, so I'm going to have a little bit less because on my kitchen shows, I'm going to show every single thing I have loaded.
Okay.
But my more broad shows on Tuesdays, I have close to about 100 items.
Wow.
It sounds like a lot.
It does.
But it's not. And
So how long does it take you to load 100 items in?
well, a lot of them are repeats because things that hadn't sold, they'll still be in there. So
Okay.
it has accumulated. And people do complain about it taking a long time to upload and to preload.
Yeah.
But I don't really think it's a big deal because so I'll just go in. I won't even take a picture of my item. When I come home from the thrift store or the antique malls or whatever, I'm going to clean and put out all my stuff and make it look awesome. And I'm going to do a video anyway and do a reel to promote what I found and what I'm going to be showing on upcoming shows. And then before I put everything away, I'll just go in and I'll click individual pictures.
Right.
I don't put them on my camera roll though. I open up the Whatnot app and I go to create a product. I take a picture of it and then I just say save draft. And I do all that a million times. It gets done quick. And then when I'm laying in bed at night and I'm feeling a little bit creative and a little bit inspired, I'm going to sit there and finish up all of my listings right there. I'm not going to just sit there and do it one by one. That's going to be so tedious. So just
That is a great workflow.
get them in there, yeah. As
And
a draft.
hopefully there's a lot of people that watch this or listen to this and they can be inspired by kind of how you described how you go from bringing the items home, preparing them, and then immediately taking photographs and creating drafts
Yes.
and whatnot. And then knowing that you don't put so much pressure on yourself to get it all done at one shot.
Exactly.
Then later you can go back in your drafts, just write on your phone, type in your descriptions, have a little fun with it.
Yep.
And I think it's those descriptions that we really need to focus on. Yes, the picture needs to look good,
Yeah.
but the description is what pulls in those people that are searching for specific things.
Exactly. You want to say those keywords.
Yeah, it's almost like you want to think about your listing as, SEO or search engine optimization, but they're searching just on the Whatnot platform and you want your item to pop up high in the
Right.
list. And like you said, that's how you get those, ring alerts, the bookmarks on your items.
Right.
And people will then follow your channel and bookmark your show.
It's great because they can find you without even following you. They just have to be searching for the item that you listed.
It's, we've noticed that on a lot of our shows too, where we look at our bookmarks. You really get to see the most bookmark additions right after you finish one of your lives. Because the people that are in your live,
Yes.
we're always talking about, by the way, we're going to be live tomorrow or the next day or whatever our schedule is. We always talk about that during our show. And people will go ahead and they'll find those shows and they'll bookmark them. So we always see a bump in bookmarks every single time after we do a live. But then I'll notice during the day randomly, like, oh, I had 100 bookmarks on that show and now I have 115. Where did those extra 15 come from?
So where did they come from?
From people searching.
Do you preload or?
Yeah, well, our shows have descriptions. So your shows
Gotcha.
have descriptions also.
I see.
So just your channel has a description. So if people are just searching for those terms and they show up in the description of your channel or the names of your show, then you're going to pop up and
Right.
people will want to follow you.
Right.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So now we've prepared for our first show. I want to know about your first Whatnot live selling experience, because a lot of people they know about Whatnot. They even have the inventory,
Yeah.
but there's some type of block,
Right.
right? Whether it be physical, mental, a combination of both,
Yeah.
that is preventing them from just turning the camera
Right.
on and going live. So I want to know a couple of things, because one of the number one questions is, well, what do I need? I don't have all this fancy camera equipment. Like, I don't have a fancy microphone. Like, what do I need to go live first? What did you have?
My phone.
Yeah.
And a tripod and a couple of ring lights.
That's it.
And I mean, I already had my setup from my Instagram lives. So
Explain your setup.
a background with like a gallery wall with, all the kinds of stuff that you can expect to find in my shop.
Okay.
Not necessarily for sale, but just to kind of give an indication of like my style and the kind of things that I have.
And where are you doing this from? Do you have a studio? Is it a spare room in your house?
A spare bedroom in my house,
Okay.
which is kind of my studio / inventory and all of that. So,
Got it. So you
yeah.
carve out a little bit of space in your house. You have a little set,
Yeah.
tripod, camera, 2 ring lights,
Yep. And a big long table.
and a big long table.
Yeah.
Which everyone has one of those.
Right. Just, the kind you go to a flea market with or whatever. Just one of those kind of tables.
So you're ready to go. Now, this is going to be different because, like you said, on Instagram, you're sharing the screen with 4 other people, which means it's your turn, and then you pump it to the next person, and you have to wait for it to come back to you, which could be 15 or 20 minutes.
Right. And you're conversating throughout the whole thing too. So that's not there anymore with Whatnot. You're just you and the camera and the microphone.
Right. And the chat.
Yeah, and the chat.
And the chat. And all right. So now take me through it.
Let's see. So, I mean, I was excited to do it. I think I would feel a lot different if I hadn't already had the experience with Instagram.
Oh, that
You know.
I remember watching your first live, and I recorded it. I remember I shared some stuff with you, and I was thinking, wow, Lisa's a natural. And I knew that it was the Instagram
Right.
experience that helped. And I know that there's a lot of people that don't have that experience.
Yes.
But I have a feeling that even you said your first time out on Instagram was like a $400 day. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think as long as you are comfortable with the subject matter, like that's why when people ask like, what should I sell? I'm like, it's got to be something that you really like.
It comes across 100%. I think authenticity goes a long way in social media and in live sales, for sure. You can absolutely tell because you're not up there. I think I read something you said on one of your posts that you're not a cashier. You're not right. I think that might have been you, but you're not a cashier. You're there. You're selling. You're not just there to check people out.
Right.
So you have to, sell whatever you're excited to talk about that maybe your friends and family don't feel like hearing you talk about all the time. You know what I mean?
And that really should calm your nerves.
Yeah.
Because if you're talking about something that you love, that should be really easy.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of trying to pretend you're talking about something that
Right.
you think is going to sell well.
Exactly.
And you're only doing it because there's money there. Instead of like, no, I'm passionate about this. I love this product, and I'm going to talk about it.
Right.
And people watching are it's going to be coming through the little phone
Absolutely.
screen
Yeah.
on how passionate I am about this. Okay, so you have all your items ready to go. You have your whole shop loaded up.
Yeah.
How much promotion did you do on your own social platforms about you having your first show on Whatnot?
Probably maybe 3 reels and maybe a couple stories, something like that, just some posts.
And how many followers do you have on your Instagram account?
About like 2,800.
Okay. So relatively small potatoes, right? And even with 2,800 people and probably a few hundred people watching your stories, do you remember how many bookmarks you had on your first show?
I don't remember. I don't think it was anything crazy though.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time for the big day.
Right.
Take me through it.
So super excited about it, and the numbers of viewers kind of escalated quickly, so I was excited. And I guess just once I kind of got into the hang, into it, it was just kind of fun, and it always goes fast.
Do you remember how many viewers you had?
I was into the 40s, and
So you had 40 concurrent at one point.
Yes.
Which is really strong. You
yeah,
did for your first show.
that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I haven't gotten there again yet.
Okay.
Maybe during a kitchen show I have. Those are a little bit because they're more niche. So the more niche shows I feel like pull in some more people because it's much more specific of an audience, I guess.
All right.
So I love doing the kitchen lives.
Well, there's a learning there, because we've noticed this on a couple of our shows also, where when we created a special event for one of our shows, we noticed that that show attracted more viewers to it.
Yeah.
Right?
I can imagine.
It's almost like we would hype up this special event show and we would talk about that one show, and that show would get a ton of bookmarks, and then it's titled a certain way.
Yeah.
So even the day you're live, you're going to have a bunch of people in there because a lot of people have bookmarked it. But then you're going to get a whole bunch of new people in there because they're interested in what that very specific subject matter is.
Right. And make it like a game or a celebration, kind of thing.
Absolutely. And yeah, milestones are a big thing when we talk
Right.
about celebration. We had a 10,000 follower milestone show, and we had a little party, and
Yeah.
we had like virtual balloons and all
Nice.
kinds of things. And
Yeah.
like the chat loves that. Like anytime you can have that type of engagement with your chat and they feel like they're part of something, like they're going to stick around more. You're going to have more concurrent viewers. It's going to feel like a party than new people coming in.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the feel of Whatnot overall, for sure. Like, people wanting to engage and, have a good time and to kind of be where the party's at, for sure.
So how do you engage with your chat?
Well, I do giveaways.
Okay. What are you giving away?
For my just follower giveaways, lately I've just been doing single like vintage playing cards, which is kind of like a big thing right now. People like to collect single playing cards and like frame them in a certain way.
You're saying like an individual card. Like there's a 52 card deck.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I'm sending you the Jack of Diamonds.
Right, but it's got a cool, retro flower
Yeah,
kind
I
of
got
thing
you.
and on one side. And then stickers, that's another big thing. So I try to do my follower giveaways as something that can go in just to a first class envelope, obviously, you
Right.
know, because was it my first show or my second show? I did like giveaways and they were small items. So I didn't really think too much of it, but I did like 5 giveaways and, they're like $6 a piece for shipping. And then I soon realized, okay, I have to figure out
The shipping profile,
Yes.
turn on 0 to 3 ounces,
yes.
and it's a plain white envelope.
and you have to call it, you have
A
to
sticker.
pick, right. It
Yeah.
depends on what category. So, and then that's the other thing, vintage stickers. So I'm on the hunt for vintage stickers and vintage cards.
All right, so you said those are follower giveaways. Have you
Yes.
done a buyer's givey?
Yeah. So they're
So
fun.
talk to me. Explain what a buyer's givey is.
So you have to have bought something during that show.
Right.
And so as a seller, you don't have to worry so much about the shipping cost because you're just going to be adding it to their box. So you don't want anything huge. You're just going to give away something small that's not going to swing the pendulum in either direction. And then I think if you do max shipping, so if you reach 1,000 followers, you can do max shipping.
Like $9.21. Yeah.
And you can just do you just fill up your boxes as much as you want, but you have to have 1,000 followers for that. So I think to do like a giveaway, that somehow helps you, the buyer, with the cost of the shipping because they're already getting something for free, and that's going, I don't know, something that helps with the it helps with the shipping cost though. I hear the bigger stores say that all the time.
Okay.
I haven't quite figured out how that works, but I know it has to do with you do have to have that max shipping because they
But
always
do
say,
you see more velocity or people paying more for your items if you're doing a buyer's givey?
I haven't, but
Okay.
my shows are still relatively small, you
Yeah.
know. So,
And just for anyone else that's listening,
yeah,
you can launch a buyer's givey at any time during the show.
right,
So you could start your buyer's givey at the beginning of the show, and then pull it at the end of the show, which would encompass everyone that purchased. Or what I've seen a bunch, and we haven't done it on our channels, at least not yet, which is, okay, we're going to start a buyer's givey, and the next 10 buyers are going to be entered in. And then after the next 10 sales, we're going to pull the givey. And I've seen other channels do this, especially in the golf niche. Like they'll do it for like ball markers or a sleeve of golf balls, but the givey will be like a really expensive putter.
Oh, wow.
So they'll essentially be selling a sleeve of golf balls that would normally be $10, and people will bid $30, $40 on it because they know there's only going to be 10 or 15 run, and they want that $500 putter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's just interesting different ways to use these tools that Whatnot has, whether it's the follower givey or the buyer's givey, or you could even do a givey where they could just enter. They don't have to be a follower.
Right. I've never done that before.
Yeah.
The other good thing about the buyer's giveaway is I think the person has to be in the room too. When
They
at
have
the
to be
time
there.
Of the, at
At the
of
time it's
drawing.
pulled.
So
Yeah.
that's a really good way to, keep people in, or at least people checking back.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's fun.
I
It's
love
fun.
those little
And the
built-in.
buyer's givey typically is a higher value item,
Right.
which is neat because we have a card channel also. So there's definitely some opportunities for us to, have a juicy card
Sure.
that's going to be given away
Right.
for those that hang out, for a long time during the stream.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Okay, but I don't think we really got to. Still, it's your first show.
Yeah.
I don't think we've gone live yet. We're gonna. Oh, we have. You had about
Yes.
40 people in your room.
Right.
And how many sales did you make that first show?
I don't remember the number of, maybe it somewhere around less than 20 boxes, but more than 20 sales, less than 20 actual boxes because,
Repeat
people were-
customers.
yeah, exactly. People were buying more.
All right.
But I would say, I remember this only because I remember saying this to you afterwards, but I would say about like 80% of what I showed, I sold. So that was, and I went on for an hour, maybe hour and 15 minutes.
All
something
right.
like
So
that.
this is a really good point because you were not starting at $1.
No.
And I think there are so many people that believe I've got to start my auctions at $1. I see
Yes.
everyone else starting at $1. They have all these people in their room, and I should start at $1. What was your thinking going into how you're going to price things, and really being okay? Like you just said, all right, I sold 80% of my items. All right, well, what about the other 20%? Right? Take me through how you figured out what you wanted to have your starting bids at.
So I did do a few dollar starts just because I thought it would be fun to kind of sprinkle that in. I thought that would be something that would keep people in the room and keep people interested and encourage pre-bids too. That's always fun. And then you kind of prioritize what you're going to show based on the pre-bids. That is always so nice when you have pre-bids or you have people shouting out numbers because it just kind of
Like, oh, run this. That's in your shop.
yes, like oh, thank you. Okay, it kind of like it organizes the the flow of the show for you. So the ones that I did mark as just $1, it was just things that I know I didn't pay that much for, but it would be. I wanted them to be valuable enough to be an interesting dollar. Like I'm not going to show a mug for just $1 because. That's not that exciting because
Yeah.
you can go and get a mug for $1 at a thrift store. You know what I mean? So, so I did a few dollar start bids just to kind of keep people's interest, and then I kind of just varied it. Otherwise, I priced it below what I would ask for it on Instagram because I really did want to encourage bidding because that is the whole fun.
That's the game.
Whatnot,
Yep.
You can't go in as a brand new seller though and do all dollar start bids. Some
might-
of the bigger shops
you'll
that
get hurt.
do that will do an entire live that are just it's like a learning live. It's just these free things that some of these bigger shops do, like House of Coop, who's kind of the one of the premier shops of selling the kind of things that I sell. And even just last night, they were doing it. They do a weekly show that's just called Let's Talk About It. And it's awesome, super inspiring. And they answer all kinds of questions, and they mainly for like new buyers. And they do
New sellers.
New sellers. And they do stress, do not start your items at $1 if you have 10 people in your room. It's not going to go well. Do
Right.
not be scared to ask for what you think your prices are worth. And they do everything at Dollar Star Bids, but they have hundreds of people in the room every time.
So they could do it.
And they said that, it wasn't until they had 100 people in their room that they started doing Dollar Star Bids. So,
Got it. So
Yeah.
how did you determine what you wanted to start yours at?
so I just took it a little bit cheaper than what I would have asked for it on Instagram.
And then
essentially.
how did you feel when you ran something and it got no bids?
Oh, fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think most people maybe wouldn't feel fine.
Oh, yeah. You can, if you go in, I mean, go in thinking you're going to sell out. You know what I mean? Go in thinking that you are all that. But you cannot be, you've kind of got to assume that not everything is going to sell. I mean, people do have sold out shows, and that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope to get to that point where I'm like consistently having sold out shows. But I never had that on Instagram. So I just didn't really think that.
Yeah. Well, you are going into it with the right mentality.
Right.
So now let's go to show wrap. Now, unlike Instagram, this was 100% the Lisa show,
Right.
right? So I imagine your volume was a magnitude more than what it would have been on
Heck
you
yeah.
sharing the screen with Instagram. What was that like for you?
Ending the show, the amount of things to ship was crazy. So, and that's actually when I decided I'm going to have to start wrapping things up, because I'm looking around at my sold pile thinking, okay, I want to get everything out in a day or two. So, realistically, being a one-woman operation, it was kind of like, all right, I think this is a good time to kind of, wrap things up for the night. So,
But you could have kept going.
I mean, I had things that weren't sold yet. So I can't remember if I actually showed every single thing that I had in my shop. I can't remember if I did that or not. Because then if I did that, that's probably what determined it being over,
So what was the gross sales of that first show?
It was over 500.
And was that your record to date as far as,
Mm-hmm.
and in how much time? Just over an hour, you said?
Just over an hour. I want to go for 2 hours. I want to push myself to do that because, new people recycle in and out of your show. And I need to kind of get over this mindset where, oh, I already showed that. Show it again. So that's what I did yesterday a little bit more of. Like, there's probably 80% of the people in my room right now were not in my room 40 minutes ago. Let me show some of these other, featured items. So, I kind of got to start doing more of that and just not get discouraged. I tried not to even look at the numbers. I've even said live that when I'm live, like, I'm just going to act like there's 80 people in my room right now. You know what I mean? I don't care if there's only 8.
Right.
So
Well, that's the right mentality.
Yep. I got upset about it one time, and then I full on just moved past that, and I have a completely different point of view now.
Yeah, because if you could be the same person when there's 8 people in your room
Right.
versus 80 people in your room, that's a big unlock right there for a
Right.
lot of people. Because so many people look at that number and they get discouraged and they think they're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
But like you said, just tell yourself, just add a 0.
exactly. And if you were to brick and mortar and you had 8 people come in and they're all there to shop, are you going to be upset about that?
Right.
No.
I use the analogy of like if you're at a trade show or if you're at a flea market and you have a table set up
Yeah,
and there are 15 people that all came at one time to your table.
right.
That's a really good thing.
Exactly.
That's a really good thing.
Everybody's there either just watching or looking through your inventory, shopping, hanging out for that
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah. And, like you were saying earlier, where you maybe have capped out at around 40, and even capping out at 40, you're still doing 500 plus a show in under 2 hours.
Exactly. It's always been, I always feel like even if, they fluctuate how many people are in the room, how much I sell, but I only really had one show where I would say, oh, that was not really worth my time. Even though it still is because you're getting followers.
And you're
all of
learning.
that. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You're just getting that experience, and nobody's thinking for the rest of the night, oh man, that loser only had, 12 people in a room. Like, no one cares, so why should I?
So what is your cadence now? So you've done your first show. You know you're going to continue to do shows on whatnot. What has been your live selling cadence?
I am consistently there every Tuesday. I'm doing 6:30 in the evening, and then I've been slowly adding on a show for Thursdays as my kitchen show, and that's earlier in the day, and they do really well. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm really excited about it too.
So you have these shows scheduled so people could bookmark them?
Yep. And then I got invited to a bunch of raid trains, which has been awesome. Inconsistently awesome.
Okay, talk about that.
So-
What's a raid train?
Right. So that is such a fun feature of Whatnot. Raid trains.
Raid train.
Yeah, we really can't not talk about raid trains.
Okay.
Because that is like a huge aspect. That's such a fun, little tool of Whatnot. So at the end of your show, when you're done, you and whoever's left in your room can go raid into another seller's room, all built in. Now, when you set up a raid train, you invite a whole bunch of stores to go one after the other consecutively, each one raiding into the next. In your show notes, you have everybody's shop name listed with the @ symbol. Make sure so that it's clickable. And what's nice about Whatnot is you can click on something and it does not take you out of the show. It just takes you to a snapshot of that person's profile where you can book their shows and this and that, and you can follow
Very
them
cool.
from there. So you do not have all that promotion's built in, and then of course, as long as the raid train is successful and is gaining momentum, each show is going to get that many more followers. So all those people are going to go in from one to the next. They usually have a theme. So they've been fun inconsistently. No, they've been fun consistently. They haven't been as successful. I find the ones that are based on a theme, like Kitchen, is great. I have a wall gallery one coming up. Ones that are based more on like a discount, I think I'm going to more or less stay away from right now, just because I'm not really in the phase of, I don't have a ton of liquidation. I have things I want to sell at their cost. When I started with Whatnot, I had a whole bunch of little stuff that was so easy to, that was like my first show, it was so easy to move. But where I'm at right now, not really looking for like the $5 rate trains or the liquidation rate trains. Not that they're not fun, if you guys are listening, because they really are. And I got lots of followers, and you make connections. So, I shouldn't say I wouldn't do them. It's just,
Right, but especially when you're starting out,
yeah.
it's one way where you can embed yourself in the community
Mm-hmm.
and you could build your account up.
Yeah. And just one last thing about rate trains, though, if you do them all the time, you do kind of miss out on creating like your own identity. Like I would suggest, and of course I'm only in it less than 2 months, just from listening to more experienced people talk about it, you really do have to have like your own shows that you're going to do on a consistent basis, because if you're going to be a lot more forgettable if you're just in a raid train.
Yeah. Look, it's the consistency, it's the schedule, it's making sure people bookmark your upcoming shows, and then over time you get to build an awesome community.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you've already seen people come back.
100%.
Yeah, and then you establish these friendships and relationships with your repeat customers or people that just want to hang out and ask questions. And we've even found that, if someone asks a question, I tell this to, hosts all the time, and that's, you don't have to be the expert.
Right.
Because there are going to be people in your room, in your chat, that know more than you do in other sub niches within your niche.
Yes.
And someone might ask a question, and if you don't know, like when I'm doing a show, if I don't know, I say, someone in the chat answer that question because I don't know.
Right.
And that empowers your chat, because now they're like, oh, wait, I'm being called on here to share my knowledge that no one else wants to hear me talk about, but now I'm in this spot where these are my people and I can talk about it.
Yes.
No, that's fantastic. And I'm so happy that you made that leap from Instagram to Whatnot, and now you're seeing success on Whatnot. If you could leave people with, with one thing to get them from either doing one thing to improve their stream or to get off their butt and actually start their first stream, what would you tell someone?
Well, I think the thing that holds people back is that you're thinking of all of the things that go into it, all of how am I going to pack? How am I going to source? How am I going to find? Just turn your camera on and do a show. Like, have some things and just try, and then you're going to figure it out as you go along. I think people get so bogged down by all the things that could go wrong when...
Yeah, just turn it on.
What's the worst thing that could really happen?
Right.
Just have some
turn it
stuff.
On. You'll figure it out.
On, and that's it.
All right. How can we watch more of Lisa?
Tuesdays 6:30 Eastern, and then Thursdays 11 a.m. and make sure you check me out on Instagram, the Vintage Pit, _vintage_pit, and I keep everybody updated on where I'm going to be.
And what's your
what I'm
Whatnot
gonna
channel
have.
name?
Same thing.
The_vintage_pit.
That's right.
Okay, last thing,
Yes.
just this is really important. I know that you do something really awesome with all of the revenue you generate.
Yes.
Real quick, what do you have going on?
So the Vintage Pit is for Pitbull. So 10% of all of my earnings across all my platforms get donated to a local Pitbull rescue. And I'm starting to think this one last thing about Whatnot, because it really can propel your business and it can kind of make you start to dream about bigger and better things.
Yeah.
And so much of what I do in sourcing, I'm finding maybe I could do some more road trips, which I did over the weekend, and maybe I could start to donate more towards the local
Charity.
charities in the areas, because I drove by one when I was in Scranton and a light bulb went out. I thought, and then I can go and I can film it, and I
More
can promote
content
it, more
and show
content.
people that you're actually doing it.
I can come to your community, source from your vendors, and give back to the animal rescue community in the different areas. So
I love it.
That's my next sort of dream in this.
All right,
whole
well, we can't wait to
adventure.
hear about that.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Lisa, it's been awesome.
Yes.